life always encourage people to be multitasking.
I've done graphics.
This should be something that should be studied in school because people actually are building professions out of it.
I'm a motion designer, I also do website graphic.
So you need to understand these skills and you need to build them in order to stay profitable. Profitability is a skill.
The most expensive I've done is about 4 million francs. It was paid in dollars.
We are going to be receiving our very first speaker. This is a person of distinguished personality. I'm talking about a boss. He is the founder of Media Boy.
So I'm here to talk about the history and value of designs. It comes with inspiration. You cannot be serious and you're inspired. The article of inspiration, when you are too serious, you don't get inspired. You have to be in an environment that's free. Like there are times, if I have a project as that person, I don't develop it in my office or in my house. I travel somewhere. I just need to see things. The element, the cave writing, that was designed. When, like I grew up in an area where you farm, you meet clay pots on the ground. Those clay pots had designs in it. So the act of designing is not an art that started with digital designs like we have Photoshop now and whatsoever. But it started even before, I think during creation, designing was an act on its own that came with it. So that's how long the act of designing is. Then I always travel with my PlayStation. I just know how serious I used to be. Like I travel with my PlayStation because with a relaxed mind you can envision something quick. When you are relaxed, that's the best time you can do anything. Very good to pay for a service. I learned that with time. Because if you pay for it, this interest you put to it, that you yourself will not believe.
Life ends far beyond our comfort zone. You need to reason out of the box. As a student in GMC, I graduated in banking and finance. But what next after graduation? That's a question you should be asking yourself. Many students don't ask themselves this question. You should not just focus on your field of study, but you should learn how to know a little of everything. I call that as an encyclopedia. Why? Because when you know a little bit of everything, you can fit yourself everywhere you go. You're sure you can be an expert in your field, but as a graphic designer, you should try to inculcate the values of maybe knowing project management, knowing business administration and all the rest, because it helps you to build a very good profile.
So a couple years ago, I was fresh out of university, just like some of you may be, or some of you are going to be very soon. And I've gone through school. I studied accounting at the University of BUEA and all of that. And I mean, I did well for myself, academically speaking and all. And like every other student, I had like all these corporate dreams and all of that. And so I decided to, do what every normal student does, which is to seek a job. God was faithful. I got a job in finance. I started working in banking and all of that. And it was beautiful. It was great. Paychecks and stability and everything started looking really good and started feeling really nice. So I found myself in a very interesting space in my life where I was a banker from let me say 6, 7 a.m. to maybe like 5, 6 p.m. And then I was probably a designer from like 6 p.m. to like 8, 10 p.m. or something. So I was operating multi-dimensional basically. And on weekends I'll be doing projects and all of that when I eventually developed the skill. And one thing stood out for me in all of this time. It was a simple fact that there's a crossroads between corporate and creativity, basically. And that basically became what I embodied along the line. Because I knew that there's a corporate side to me and there's a creative side to me. So combining these two things literally made me find my sweet spot, which is corporate design, and that's what we're talking about here today.
We're going to take a few minutes to talk on the business of design. I have a big problem when it comes to doing anything for survival is that it's not sustainable. Survival is not sustainable. Let's say design, for example. If you're doing design for survival, you find yourself begging clients. You find yourself most of the times under pricing. Because you just want to survive. Maybe you just want a plate of meal for today. What about the day that you're sick? What about if you have the plate of meal today? What about when you're sick? How do you get your plate of meal? You cannot work. So you need to understand these skills and you need to build them in order to stay profitable. Profitability is a skill, so build it.